Hi guys, Martin here, Man City Man TV, and welcome to our latest edition of the Friday Night Social, Friday the 17th of July. And we've got some usual guests to join us today. Someone is missing because we've swapped roles this weekend. I'm going to do the Friday Night Social. Andy's going to join you for the Arsenal FA Cup semi-final watch-along tomorrow in the early evening. So make sure you check that out. So we've got some regular guests, as I've said. We've got Alan, we've got Carl, and we've got Chris. So we're going to go around, as we normally do, and say a few hellos, see how the all reprobates are doing. So let's start off with the Ginger Prince himself, Mr. Baker. How are you, buddy?
Ginger King, please, mate.
Sorry.
Yeah, all right, mate. Trying to reintegrate with society a bit more this week, mate. Been for a couple of walks and that. Got out of the house a couple of times, but yeah, all good, mate.
Good. Still in lockdown?
Yeah, still in lockdown, mate.
You ever going to do a bit of work, you know?
Yes, it's coming up a couple of weeks, I think, mate.
Wow, breaking news. Chris is going to do something. So he's got the boss. He's got the boss from heaven, him, hasn't
he? Yeah, right. Let's not take that any further, mate.
Let's go over to Washington. Carl, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, guys. Good. It's been a busy, hot week. It's been over 36 degrees here every day. So it's been hot, but it's been good. It's been a sleepless week from Monday. Put it that way. It's been one thing after the other. Good news for City.
Yeah, it has been a good news week, but we'll get into that as we're going along, I'm sure. Now let's go down under. Mr. Howarth, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I've had a good week, obviously, at the start. And obviously City playing well. Then I had a mixed things when my receptionist at work got COVID. So we all had to get tested. And I got the results yesterday. I'm all clear and negative, so I'm fine. So it's been a good week in the end.
Excellent.
Well, that's good. At least you've not got COVID.
Exactly.
Problems, but I know you haven't got COVID, so that's good. Well, let's part one. What we're going to talk about is we're going to start a little bit on Wednesday night's game against Bournemouth, a little bit of a review, and then we're going to go on to the big game tomorrow down at Wembley, the Etihad of the South, City versus Arsenal. So let's get into it. Bournemouth, City won 2-1 on Wednesday night. As you know, I did the watch-along. Wasn't the greatest game, but sometimes good teams play not great, but they get the points. That's what matters. So let's start with Chris. What do you think of the game on Wednesday night, buddy?
Like you say, it wasn't the greatest game. I thought the second half in particular was pretty poor by City. He gave the ball away a lot. I thought we tried to coast through the game. I think we should have had a penalty as well, which would have possibly put us 3-0 up had we taken it. And then I think it might have been a totally different second half. But which, you know, is a question that keeps reoccurring is what is the point of VAR if it's not going to be used? I think that was a really obvious penalty. God knows what the VAR official was thinking to not be able to see that. I think it's pretty disgusting, if I'm being honest with you, seeing as that there's another club who can't seem to do anything but get penalties for next to nothing and not have penalties given against them. There you go. I thought Bournemouth were really unlucky to come away with nothing. They had their chances. I think we had three players who had a decent match, and that was Edison, David Silva, and I thought Gabby had a decent game as well. Everyone else, and there's a few fringe players there as well, not really making any push there for a start, I don't think. I think Otamendi and Stones were all right first half, nothing special, but I think once Garcia went to right back and Zinchenko came at left back, we looked all at sea. I thought that was quite a telling thing, and I think the club know already we have to sort that defence out. And the only other thing that really concerns me, Martin, which has concerned me for a while, is Bernardo's form. Hooked at a half time. 3 seasons he's had with us. He had a player of the season last year, but we've seen the first season Bernardo this year, in my opinion. I'm really concerned about that.
Well, me and you had a chat earlier about it, didn't we? And It's very, very weird. You know, he's been here for 3 years, and we thought he was going to kick on from last year when he was player of the season and he was outstanding. And he just seems to have not got back to it or anywhere near it. There seems to be too many off the field problems with him at the moment. I'm not sure. We just have to hope he gets back to his form next season. I don't know. You know, I get my issue with some of them is, especially with Bernardo, very similar to Mahrez. Both their best positions are taken by a certain world superstar that's in their best position, and they're having to play out of position all the time because you're not going to move KDB. You're just not going to move him, and I think that's a problem. Carl, what do you think on Wednesday night, buddy?
I thought Bournemouth were really good, especially second half, and I'm really hoping that they stay up. You know, I think I like Eddie Howe. I think he's a good manager for with the budget he has and the resources he has, and I like his style of play, playing up for the back, trying to possess the ball. A couple of things I learned: Stones and Otamendi. It's time. I don't think we can win a championship again with those two at the back. I'm sorry. I just don't. They're always. I watched a lot of their games last year, and just mistakes. Just mistakes. Always scared. Always trying to recover. Always panicking. It's just not the Pep way. If you watch Pep Guardiola teams, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, the center backs are ultra confident. They play out. They never panic. They're leaders. They shout. They control. Stones and Otamendi for me are not. Laporte, yes, maybe one more center back, but those two are not. That was the main thing I just found from that game was that those two we just need to sell, move on from them. Fernandinho to me, I don't think he plays CDM anymore. I think we were all crying out for him and as a number 6, but clearly I think he's beyond that now, and Pep knows what he's doing. But ultimately, it was a strange game. 2-1, we'll take the points and we'll move on.
Yeah, I mean, John Stones is a funny one because you just said about the Pep wants a centre back that plays out from the back and he's confident on the ball. And if you look at John Stones at Everton, you think this is the guy that's going to do it. And he's even done it. He's done it in patches at City, but there's no consistency with him. And I know Andy and a couple of other people, we had a chat about it, and we said, if a player hasn't improved under Pep Guardiola in 4 years, this isn't his first season, next year's his 5th year.
Yeah.
That's what's really telling here. He's not a better player than what he was at Everton in 4 years.
Yeah. Martin, the issue I think is with the Pep system is that you can try to learn it, but when you're under pressure, if you don't have the innate talent of playing out from the back, you will struggle. Because there are things that you have to do on the ball and off the ball that are just part of who you are growing up as a kid. And like, for example, in the Barcelona Academy, they're taught, they're grown that way. John may have the skills to do it once in a while, but when there's pressure, he falls apart. Look at Puyol. Puyol is somebody, even under pressure, he's playing out from the back. He's defending. He's a warrior, right? Vincent Kompany was a warrior. That compensated for him. Laporte knows how to play out from the back. That's what he grew up on in Spain. So for me, we just have to find that person who can do that from the get-go, who's young, who's talented, and can play out and defend like a warrior and is a leader.
Does he have to be young?
Nope. He can be experienced as well.
which we'll come on to later on when we're talking about transfers in a check that out. Alan, Wednesday night.
I thought City were lethargic. I thought they were going through the motions, just getting rid of the game, to be honest with you, because they can't go up, they can't go down on position. So they've got Champions League. They finished second before the game. And I just thought that the attitude from the players wasn't right. I think that they know they were trying to save themselves for the weekend. None of them wanted to get injured. There was no 50-50 tackles going in. And I thought Bournemouth deserved to win, I'll be honest with you. If they'd have taken the chances, they'd have won easy. They had a few chances in the first half, and they had about 5 or 6 in the second half. At least 3 or 4 of them should have scored. Because Bournemouth had a go second half. If they'd have had the same... Bournemouth had the same attitude in the first half as they did in the second half, and they tore City to pieces. But City weren't at the races. They weren't. I don't think they bothered, to be honest with you. I was watching it. I was concerned. And when he was resting players and taking people off, you know my opinion on Otamendi. He's too slow now. He's not good enough. John Stones.
Can you remind me?
Yeah, John Stones. I listened to what Carl said then. I don't think it's his playing that from the back. I think he's got that. He's got talent. It frustrates me, but his defensive work when he actually has to defend is his problems. That's where he falls down. And he hasn't improved that side of his game, in my opinion, for a long, long time. He's coming out with the ball, comfortable on the ball. He can pass the ball. He looks comfortable. Then he just switches off for maybe about 10 minutes per game. And it's frustrating because you can see the amount of talent that he's got. So it's a concentration issue, I think, personally, with him. Zinchenko, when we had Garcia at right fullback, he's not a right fullback. What's going on there? I felt sorry for the kid, to be honest with you. It was up against King, and he just tore him an arsehole out of him. He just ran past him every single time. And that caused a lot of problems. Zinchenko, we all know, is a makeshift left full-back. He's a midfield player, let's be completely honest. But he's never going to get in City's midfield. But I thought it was a disappointing performance, to be honest with you. I was disappointed. But at the end of the day, they played badly and won. So, move on, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I've got to say, like you just said, Alan, about Zinchenko and Stones, I found that back line, that second half, really, really strange. Yeah. Especially Garcia at fullback. Now, I've not read anything. Don't know if you guys have heard anything about Cancelo being injured or anything. Nothing's come out. Which makes me wonder, has he got a future? Is there something we're not privy to?
Well, I watched the press conference today with Pep, and he did say he had an injury, but he's back in training for the game today. So, make of that what you will. We'll see. Yeah.
I just found it a very strange thing to do, especially when you've got players like King who are major quick. They are quick lightning, and you have Garcia, Zinchenko, Stones, and Otamendi, and I get, I don't want to blame Stones because I got more worried when Brooks was unmarked with 5 yards either side of him. Yeah. If that was done on a Sunday morning on a pitch, you'd be going mental. You'd still be going mental then. It shouldn't be happening in the Premier League. And Alan, you said about, players weren't trying. How many of that team are actually going to play on Saturday? A lot of bench.
Yeah, there's only a few of them that will, to be honest. I don't think David Silva will play. I think David Silva will be on the bench as well, won't he? And he was the one that played, I thought, the best of the lot, to be honest with you. Yeah. He stood out. His goal was, he's going off with a great send-off, and let's be completely honest. The guy is the best player we've ever had, and he's just unbelievable. He's class.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let me ask this question of you all. If you had a choice, would you keep David Silva for one more year? And we'll start with Chris.
No, I wouldn't, but he's not staying anyway. He's already said he's not staying.
No, but if you could.
My problem for David is, right, and I think he's been great since we've come back to this project, Restart. He has probably been, our best player. But before that, you could see a difference in David this season. And what concerns me is lack of game time for Phil. Phil's the future. And if David stayed to the season, I'm not going to be bothered. He's not going to be make me unhappy or anything. He's a legend, a complete and utter club legend. But I want Phil Foden to be starting more. I want to see the future for City.
Carl. Sorry, go on, Chris.
No, so I was just going to say no, but no. I think he should. I think it is time for David to go.
Okay, Carl.
Yeah, for me, I would keep him on two conditions. Number one, no captaincy. Maybe it's De Bruyne or somebody else is the permanent captain, so that we don't have this lack of leadership that think it happens. Yeah. Number two, Foden always starts. and then David backs up once in a while, or whenever Foden needs a rest. Those are the two conditions that would have him stay next for one more year. So I don't think he can start games and then put Foden on the bench. I don't think he's a natural leader on the field. Maybe I'm wrong, but for me, I would keep him one more year just to bring him on, for games where we need something special. Maybe bring him out at the 60th minute and see what he can do.
Okay, Alan.
A bit of Carl and a bit of Chris already, to be honest with you. I'd love to be able to keep him, because he's quality. But we have to go with Phil as the first option now. We have to. The lad's got talent. But it was interesting to read an article in the Manchester Evening News actually about David Silva with the kids, with young Doyle, Phil Foden, etc. Apparently, he spends a lot of time with them in training sessions and showing them what to do, how to get out of situations, etc. A lot of coaching. I would love to have seen him get extended with a view to doing his coaching badges and staying as a coach at City, especially helping Phil Foden, because let's be honest, Phil idolises him, and he does. Young Doyle, all these young kids that playing at City, how much could they pick up off him, in training sessions, etc. moving forward? He seems to have time for all the kids, for the youngsters, from what I've seen and what I've heard. I'd love to be able to keep him there, permanently with those kids.
I think he's a very special player, Alan. He no doubt can teach people what to do, but I'm not sure I've seen many players with the natural ability of David Silva to find space and those passes that he makes. I just think he's a one-off. I think he is going to be very difficult to find a David Silva replacement. I don't think there's anyone out there of that kind of talent.
No, he's the best player I've ever seen in the City shirt. I'll be honest with you, and I've been going since 1971. So, without he's the best player I've ever seen. You can talk about Yaya. Yaya was a match winner, a big game player.
Yeah,
he's a big game player, Yaya. But if you want consistency, and absolutely, if David Silva got hold of a game and started dictating with it, we're very rarely going to beat.
Yeah, definitely.
Alan, to your point, the 17-18 season, David Silva with the bald head when he was going through the issues with his kid, that David Silva was like a demon. This guy was I've just never seen anybody like that, play like that. It's just the control, the power, the passing, the positioning was just incredible. And we're seeing that now at the end of his career.
Yeah, I thought when he was playing most of the, he's a pretty consistent player. Let's be honest with you. He's a pretty good, I think, we knew we had something special when City beat United 6-1 at Old Trafford. Because that game, if you watch David Silva that game, United fans think, oh my God, they couldn't get near him. The guy's 5'6", he is. And United players were trying to man-to-man mark him, and they couldn't get near him. And United fans were saying to me, months after that, after they come out of their caves after the 6-1 defeat, they were saying to me, he's the best player you've ever had. United had Paul Scholes, as a good one. He was right at the end of his career then. But, I will put him in the same bracket as a Paul Scholes at United without any shadow of a doubt. He's brilliant.
The one thing I would just sort of go back to the Bournemouth game out and everyone was that we went with the midfielder Gundogan, Fernandinho and Silva, and
no pace.
There's no pace, and it lacks a bit of energy as well. And we really missed something driving through the middle of that part, which would be Kevin. So that's another sort of that's the one thing with David. He's not that kind of. He's not gonna. He really can control a game, but we needed some legs in that midfield, and they weren't there.
Well, that's the thing with Fernandinho, and I think Carl, we've all said it. And the problem is, you do feel wrong saying it, but we've all begged and we've all pleaded for Pep to put him back in CDM. And he goes back there and he looks lost. He suddenly looks 35 years old and he looks behind it. And then what happened was you had Rodri then come on. with Fernandinho. And then what happens then is, if you look at the actual game, they look confused between them. They didn't know which one was going to go. They didn't know which one was going to stay. They didn't know who was going to tackle, who was going to... Because they were both just staring at each other, looking like, well, who's doing the CDM role, who's not. Who? And I just don't know. I think it was a little bit confusing all around. But at the end of the day, we won the game. And we're sort of nitpicking a little bit, I think. You know,
there is that, definitely we are. Yeah. And as Alan said, you know, FA Cup semi-final is what's on the players' minds. But I think for some of those fringe players, they're playing for their futures, you know, and some of them didn't really perform very well.
I would have
Chris, we can't discount the fact that 2 days before was this huge decision from UEFA, right? I didn't sleep much that day or the day after because I was happy and euphoric, right? Imagine what those players are feeling at that point in time, where they know that now they can play in the Championship. They won't be as focused as to play Bournemouth when they've already won the league. All these things all play into each other. I wasn't surprised that the performance wasn't the best, but we got the 3 points somehow, right? One talent from Jesus and from David Silva.
Yeah, there is that, but there is I think the players knew well before on Monday that.
I don't think they got told on Monday. I think the club got told Friday. I think the club knew Friday. I think the press release was going out Monday.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I've heard anything. I'm just saying, looking at other, you know, I've studied criminology and law and things. And on court cases, you do find out a little bit beforehand, you know, especially when it's coming out in the public domain. Now, I might be wrong. They might have found out at the same time.
No, they didn't. They got told the week before.
All I'm going to say is that statement from City was ready rather quickly, just after 9:30, wasn't it? That statement didn't roll out at 10:30 or 11 or 12 o'clock. It was out pretty sharpish, so that statement was ready-made and ready to roll out the door. Which makes me think he kind of knew. They knew. And I think one thing I will say, we've got a big props to Cheeser, who hit it nail on the head. I will be honest, he took a gamble. In my eyes.
He put his reputation on the line, didn't he? Let's be honest.
But he gambled, and sometimes you've got to gamble. You know, he believed the person who told him. The person who told him was bang on. But a win's a win, 3 points. The only thing I would have said is I'd have loved to have seen. Me and Andy had this big debate on WhatsApp about this. I'd like to have seen some more youngsters in that team on Wednesday.
Yeah, I would have.
I'd like to have seen a Doyle, a Cole Palmer, because for me and Andy had this big debate, and Andy was, and this isn't throwing Andy under the bus, this is just a little peek into our private debates what we have a little bit. But it was, Andy was thinking, no, it's the FA Cup coming up. These, like you said, shop window for Stones and possibly Otamendi. And I was, well, this is why we lose the youngsters, because there's no pathway to the first team ever. And if you've already got second spot secured, you're in the Champions League, this is the ideal opportunity for me to roll them out, give them a go. Now, we've seen today the pictures of Braff in first team training. Chris told me last week, you know, he got Young Player of the Year this year, you know, for the academy, or was it Player of the Year for the academy? You've got it. You're not going to know unless you try. That's my whole point. And I think we'll probably see them in the Norwich game. But I'd like to maybe see him 30, 40 minutes maybe, because I know what Zinchenko can do. And I now know what Foden can do. I know what Gundogan can do. I know what Bernardo can do. I know what Mahrez can do. Why did Mahrez need to come on the pitch? You know, why did Rodri need to come on the pitch? We know what they're doing. You know, that's just my opinion on it. I don't know what you guys think. We can open it up. Well, Alan, what do you think?
I'd like to see the kids now. And I said this before, well, as soon as we secured second place, I said, I want to see the kids in my fan camp. And I do want to see them because, like you say, you know, we're not going to know if anyone's any good or not unless you give them a chance. You know, the perfect example, I hate saying this, and I do hate it. Young Greenwood at United is coming at 19 years of age, and look what he's doing. Oh my God, he looks frightening.
He looks player.
He does, doesn't he? But Braff might be like that. Doyle could be like that. We don't know unless they give them a run of games. They've got to give. It's not just one. We've got to give them a run of games. But it's very difficult with the squad that we've got, and it's like, what do we want? United, they've won. They've not lost in 15, 16 games, and they were fit, and they were eighth now, and they're only fifth. They're still not in the Champions League spot, and they might not make it.
Yeah.
But the United have made a policy that they're going to give these kids a go. Well, that'll stay the same or not next season remains to be seen. But I think Greenwood will be. Oh my God, he looks quality. But we'll just. I want to see some kids being given a chance. Maybe the last game of the season, the FA Cup semi-final, they won't get a game. I'll tell you that now. Foden might, but it's about the only one that will. But the last game of the season, they should be thrown in, no matter what the situation is.
Well, that's the part Andy made a very good point. Trouble is, at the moment, we're still in two very big competitions. Our season's not dead. So and like Andy made a great point, we have to keep our first team fresh, because these youngsters are not going to play in the FA Cup. They're not going to play in the Champions League. So that's why it's a double-edged sword. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't right now. Carl, what do you think?
It's a tough one. I think you keep the players fresh, but at the same time, I think you have to have the kids to try them out in game-like situations that at least mean something, like the Premier League. There are 2 or 3 games left. Try them. The Norwich game, try them. Play Braff. Play Tommy Doyle. Play Taylor Howard-Bellis. Play them. Let's see what happens. And that's, I agree with you, Martin, that they need to try the kids out, at least in the Premier League. FA Cup and Champions League are totally different, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. You've got to try and keep the first team as fresh at the same time. For the Champions League, you've got to keep them match ready, haven't you? And that's
you play them. You play them in the FA Cup semi, right? That's going to keep them all buzzed. Well, play them 45 minutes and then take them off after the first 45 minutes and bring in 3 kids after it's 2 goals up.
The problem is, though, it's July the 18th. We don't play the Champions League till the 7th of August.
Right, but you play.
First team are going to be sat on the rear end, some of them, for 3 weeks.
Right. So you play a half with the first team, take 5 people off, and bring on the kids. Right, and you rotate to the next game.
No, but it's difficult.
But at least keep Braff and keep these kids engaged so that they feel there's some sort of pathway towards the first team, even if it's a falsehood, if you would. But just keep them fresh, keep them engaged.
Chris?
Yeah, I think another thing that might have come into consideration is integrity. We've got we're playing Bournemouth, who are in a relegation battle. We've got Watford, I think, next, haven't we? They're in a relegation battle. So, you can't be putting out a team full of kids. But I would like to see, 1 or 2 thrown in. And I want to see them playing with your KDBs, and the first, somebody like Taylor Howard-Bellis playing alongside Laporte, so he gets some confidence. That's what I'd like to see. I don't think there's anything wrong with putting 1 kid in from the start, and I haven't seen a great deal of Braff, but what I have seen, I think he's as talented, if not more so, than what I saw of Jadon Sancho when he was at City. And that is a bit of a, I don't think he's worth 100 million or whatever Dortmund are looking for him. But we're not going to let another really promising youngster go out the door for 10, 15 million, only to see him, be worth 10 times that much 2 seasons later. It's madness. We're crying out for a winger. I think one of City's biggest problems this season has been having Riyad on the right and Sterling on the left.
Agreed.
Because they cut back in, and that gives defences time to get back into position and makes it a more congested area to work through for the midfield players. So I would love to see, some real wingers on their right sides playing. And I'm not saying drop Mahrez, let Mahrez play deeper. That's what I think. That's been a big thing. And I was talking to somebody else on the channel about this. Leroy and Raz, when they were playing down the wings, was the best football I've seen at City.
Jesus.
Your mate Leroy.
Leroy.
Who's he? Hey.
Chris, to your point, I was watching the 17-18 season review yesterday, and Leroy and Raz were just absolutely deadly, and you couldn't stop them left and right. It was none of this inverted winger nonsense that we're doing now that everybody can predict, but it's just blazingly hot. There is one thing, Martin, that I think Pep doesn't want Liverpool to break all his records. So if we lose against Bournemouth or Watford, then it goes to 25, 26, 27 points. That's another record that he's got. Now it's 18 ahead, right? So that record's off the table, like the Centurion. So there's so many angles to this that we don't even know. But it won't surprise me if he says, "Look, I'm not going to give these guys any more records anymore based on what they've achieved so far."
I love that. Say that again. We are the only team to do what?
100. 100.
Yeah.
Centurions.
Some have it, some don't.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Anyway, let's move on to Saturday.
Martin, don't tempt me.
Quickly moving on. Saturday. We go to the Etihad South. Our second home. It made me laugh. I was watching another channel. I won't mention it. Saying that Wembley's their second home. I think City have been to Wembley 11, 12 times, more than that in the last 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it is. I think there's only one second home, and that's ours, which is what Wembley is. So, what I'm going to say before we go into, I'm going to ask you all your 11. We know Bravo's out with an apparent muscular problem.
Right.
Even though, from what I've heard, he's not signed a contract extension beyond the 30th of June.
It's gone.
Wink, wink, muscular problem.
Right.
Which, I'm going to be honest, I think it's a load of guff. I think he's just not going to sign the contract. Which I will. Before I jump, it is a shame. I'm not going to have a go at Bravo because I have heard that players will lose their big signing on fees if they extend. I think some players are having to give up certain privileges at their new clubs to stay beyond the 30th of June. So, but, I'm not going to have a go at Bravo. That's his choice. If he has got a muscular problem, then fair dues. But we know Edison's going to start. Chris.
Hello.
Saturday, semi-final. How do you feel? Are you confident? What?
Yeah, I'm fairly confident, mate. We got a good recent form against Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
I think we like playing against them. I watched Arsenal against Liverpool the other day, and I don't know how the hell they got out of that with a 2-1 victory. They were rubbish.
I agree.
Two mistakes basically by Liverpool, and they will be kicking themselves that they never won that match. Because if their finishing was up to scratch as well,
wasn't that the best centre back in the world?
Well, yeah, but listen, fair dues, everyone is entitled to a mistake, mate.
I'm prodding out, and I'm prodding.
Yeah.
Why are you bringing Liverpool back up again? Don't tempt me, Martin. Don't tempt me.
I tell you what I do. I quite like Arsenal's keeper they brought in. I can't remember his name. Is it Martinez?
Martinez.
Got two quality ones.
They have. It's safe from Trent. There was a rocket, a brilliant save. But I think City have got the sort of hex on them at the minute. I don't care that Arteta's knows City well. I don't think Arsenal are good enough to stop us, really. I think we'll win.
My next question.
Sorry, mate. But we'll see, mate. I'm confident.
Carl,
if we play like we can play to our best, it shouldn't be an issue. I'm just concerned about who's at the back, centre back for us on Saturday. That's my concern. I mean, Laporte's going to be there, fine, but who's going to partner with him? But it should be a good game.
Hopefully, Garcia.
Well, we'll go through that in a bit. We'll go around the table.
Right. But it should be a good game. It should be a City in the final, all things being equal.
Alan,
if City play well, we'll win. Simple as that. We'll win. Arsenal won't make it easy. Semi-finals, a cup game, they're going to be up for it. It's their only chance of winning anything. So they're going to give it absolutely everything. I don't think it'll be a walkover, I'll be honest with you. But if we score early, I think you might see their heads drop, Arsenal's. Yeah. So it depends. We have to score first against them.
I just hope Pep picks David Luiz again. He did a great turn in the league.
Have we got him back on loan again for it?
I hope so, just for this weekend, mate.
I hope so. But we'll just have to wait and see. It's the semi-finals, a cup competition. It's they're going to be giving it everything they've got, Arsenal. And we need to be up for it. And I'll be honest with you, I hope we win, and I don't want anyone to get injured because that's the biggest fear now because of the Champions League. I like to win the FA Cup, of course I would, but I don't want injuries. Especially someone like KDB, for God's sake.
I mean, it's a difficult because I'm not going to say it's going to be we turn up, we win, we play well, we win. Because Arsenal are getting better. They have improved. If you look, they have improved. I think this goalkeeper Martinez have got. From what I heard, a lot of Arsenal fans. There's a bit of a debate at the moment between Arsenal fans. Some don't want Leno back in. Some want to stay in.
We've got two keepers.
David Luiz, I mean, he's had his critics, but I will say, I think, off subject a little bit, he earned my respect after what he did at the Etihad afterwards. When he came out to the camera and did what he did, that took some grapefruit start from him. Big style for me. Still hope he plays, because I think he's got a ricketing big style. I honestly think, if we play well, I think we'll probably win. I don't think it's going to be the normal 3-0, turn up, crush them. But we have to score early. If you look at City, if we score 1 or 2, we go on and we win 3-4. If after 30, 40 minutes we still haven't scored, we start struggling. It comes back to, I've always said this for the last couple of years, tempo's the key to our game. You can take City within the first 5 minutes, what City are going to turn up. You know how they're going to play. Because if they come out the gates and they're bombing chances straight away, right, they're up for this. If they're just knocking the ball around the back line 5 minutes at the beginning, that worries me a little bit, because then I'm like, the tempo's not going here. There's no tempo to the. We suffered from that under Pellegrini for me in his last season. There was no tempo to it. It was slow. All the time it was slow. And that's what I find very similar in Pep's teams. For the first, you can tell for me in the first 5 or 10 minutes, but it's Wembley. It's a big pitch. I think it suits us, the huge pitch that it is. I don't know about the crowd. Obviously, there's going to be no crowd in there, which will be very weird for a semi-final. But we'll have to wait and see. But what we'll do is we're going to go round with your starting 11. Now, I'm presuming, put your hand up if I'm wrong. Are we all saying Edison? Now we know Bravo's out.
Yeah.
Nobody's gone for Scott Carson here.
No.
You shook Chris?
No, I think Kyle might be giving before Scott Carson, man.
Let's go to right back then. Cal, who's your right back for the game?
Walker.
Walker, why?
Power, pace. Power, pace. That's it for me. Yeah.
Okay. Alan?
Walker all day long.
Same reason?
So, his pace, he's a better defender as well.
Even though Cancelo has improved?
No.
The issue you have, Martin, is Aubameyang is probably going to play on the left side. So you need someone who's faster than Aubameyang. I certainly think Walker is.
Right.
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, Kyle for me, mate. I haven't got really a big problem with Cancelo, but I agree he's a better defender. Walker's a better defender, and his pace will help us undoubtedly. And he hates Arsenal, so yeah, fine, get him in there.
I'm with you, me Walker, but it wouldn't surprise me if Cancelo does play. That's what I'm going to say. I wouldn't go, oh my God, Cancelo's playing. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I will be honest.
Yeah.
Let's move to left back then. If anyone says Zinchenko, you come in straight away. Don't want to know you. Alan, left back.
Mendy.
That's what I call him. Don't be nicking it.
I know, that's what I'm taking to make it. Mendy.
Chris.
Yeah, it's got to be Mendy.
Yeah.
Carl.
It's got to be the birthday boy, Benjamin Mendy. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go for Zinchenko. I think at left back he'd be the ideal guy. He's got pace, power. Sorry, I meant Mender. I did mean Mender. I'm only joking. I meant Mender. So yeah, I think that's 3 out of 3 for us all. Right, Carl said this is going to be the big one. I'm going to centre back. I want you to give me your pairing. Don't just give me one. Your pairing and why, because this is going to be. I know mine. I'll tell you mine at the end, and I'll see if you're all right. Obviously, are we all going Laporte?
Yeah.
So it's Laporte and one other. Chris, you're going on the spot first.
Okay. I don't know. I think I would go, and it won't be, but I think I'll go with Fernandinho.
Really?
Yeah.
Even at his 10 years of 35?
Yeah.
I think Arsenal's forward line.
Listen, Arsenal do not like it up, and mate, and Ferner will sort them out, mate. So that's why I'd like him in there. I think I want some strength in that back line.
Okay. Carl?
Oh, it's a tough one. I mean, Laporte. I'm thinking Stones for some reason. I don't know why. I'm thinking shop window. I'm thinking
Stones and FA Cup final.
Yeah, but Pep trusts Garcia, and I think he's trying to get him to sign. So it's probably going to be Laporte and Garcia.
That's my bet too. I think Garcia.
He's a natural defender too, so it's like, it's not Fernandinho who's a DM trying to be a centre back. It won't surprise me if Pep puts Stones. It won't surprise me.
I was going to say it won't surprise me with Otamendi.
Oh God, no!
Oh, please, no!
I think that's the point, is it, Martin? That is the point.
Accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, he's our David Luiz, isn't he? We have got one really good centre back, and it's one of 4, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I think we know where the problem is for the summer, don't we? I think we know where we're going with it. Yeah. Alan.
Garcia all day long.
Nico, player of the season. You want him in?
Well, it's going to be Garcia for me. I think he's taken the number 1 spot there now. That spare spot at centre half. It was Fernandinho, but when he came in and did a job, he's taken his chance. To be fair, and I would. He's very calm, very collective. I think you'll go with him. As an outside bet, I would go John Stones, but I don't think it will be.
Okay. Well, I said Garcia because I think it was Carl who said it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this contract signing's a big thing, and
we have to re-sign him big time.
And I think playing him is Pep's way of enticing him to sign it in a way. But I think he is now the first choice alongside right now. I think he's earned that in some of his performances. Has he been great? No. But now there's been Stones now, and Chris, you're talking one, and then you could. It's much of a muchness with the rest of them. So why not give a 19-year-old kid the go to go out and have a go? Because he's the future. Stones and Otamendi are not the future.
Marty, here's a stat. Garcia hasn't made a mistake that's led to a goal in all his starts. Now, his starts may be small, maybe 4 or 5, but in those 4 or 5, the sample size, he hasn't made a mistake that's led to a goal. He's made mistakes, which
he makes the odd bad call by holding the line too much sometimes, but he gets told when he does not to do that.
Is that inexperience?
Right?
Is that inexperience?
Yes, because as long as the port's next to him and talking to him, there won't be an issue, right? Because that's inexperience, like you said. He reads the game very, very well. That's how I'm impressed with him. He does read the game. For a young lad of that age, he does read it really well. And why would want to go to Barcelona, who are now taking a loan out with Golden Sachs for 800 million euros? Why would they're not going to be signing anybody? That's just paying off their debts.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. They won't be signing anyone this year.
Well, let's move on to CDM. Alan, who's your CDM for this one?
Rodri,
that quick, that simple, that easy for you?
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, Rodri for me, mate.
That was quite... Carl?
Yeah, Rodri.
No one wants Fernandinho back in there. You were all crying out for him 3 weeks ago.
He's in my centre-backs.
Well, I know what you were all crying. I want Fernandinho back in at CDM. You've just all kicked him out. You circle. You're a right lot, you lot. You turn quick as milk, you lot.
You've got a very poor memory.
I'm getting old. I'm 22 soon.
You had a hard life then.
I know.
That's right.
The paper round I used to have was terrible. Used to get up at 4 a.m. Right, anyway, I'm going to go with Rodri. I think that's who it'll be. And I think next year it'll get even better as well. I think Rodri's going to be a really good player in the end. Let's move to let's do all three together. Let's do the midfield three before we go to the midfield two. Sorry. I'm going back to my 4-3-4-3-4-6-7-8-9 formation. So who's the next two? Who's in front of Rodri? Kyle?
It has to be KDB, and for me, it has to be Phil. KDB and Phil.
No Bernardo?
No. In current form, Phil is probably on form. Just needs to take his chances, but his energy, his dribbling, directness, we need that against Arsenal.
Didn't have a great game on Wednesday?
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of the games that were not great, but it wasn't bad. It was just average. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But when he's on his game and he knows the world is watching and he plays that inside channel, kid is great. I would use him every day for the energy. I'm
just trying to play a little bit of devil's advocate in terms of where Chris knows this. We criticise one player for one thing, but Foden gets away with it a little bit because he's young and he's new into it, and it's just that's the only reason I'm asking. And sometimes we do treat things a little bit differently. And that's
Martin. Right now, I will say one thing though, that the game against Bournemouth where Phil was there, Kevin didn't play.
Yeah, true.
Right, when you have Kevin and Phil, it's a dynamic midfield. It literally just comes alive, and I think that combination going forward will be one of the best probably in England.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Yeah. Totally agree with you on that one. Alan?
I'm going to go Phil Foden and KDB.
So everyone's going for Phil. Chris?
Yeah, I'm the same, mate. Absolutely, exactly the same. And last time we were at Wembley, who was our man of the match?
He played on the right side, though, didn't he?
He did, but he played really well. And he's got I don't think he's got any sort of nerves about playing at Wembley. I think he is the future. And like Carl said, him and KDB together, they've got so much potential.
Yeah, it's quite scary how good they can be.
Martin, it won't surprise me if Pep switches to a 4-2-3-1 against Arsenal, because he likes playing a 4-2-3-1, where he plays Kevin in a 10, maybe Phil on the left, Mahrez on the right, or Sterling. But it won't surprise me that he goes to a 4-2-3-1, gives Kevin a free role. He seems to do that against Arsenal. Let Kevin just roam and do whatever he wants in the field. But we'll see.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be an intriguing battle, I will say. I'm probably with you guys. I'm with Phil. alongside KDB because I think that is some partnership. That's something I think Phil Foden's going to have to learn, and he will do. He will do as he gets older because he's not always going to have KDB next to him. He's going to have to learn to take some time.
With a young kid, he's going to have bad games. He's going to have games in and out. He's a young kid. He hasn't got the consistency yet. He's still learning that, I think. So he's going to have games where he doesn't like on. I guess Bournemouth, he didn't have a good game. He was, he's gonna. We have to accept that from him, to be honest with you. But we can get him off, and get Gundogan on, Bernardo on. We've got players that can come on and just do that if he's not having a good game.
Oh, I totally agree. I'm just going down the road of if he's now classed as a first team player, we have to judge him as a first team player a little bit as well. So whereas we praise him a lot, got to have a little bit of fair criticism with that, where you go, you need to improve that a little bit because of A, B, C, I would think. We can't keep going down the road of, well, he's a young lad, he's a young lad. You know, that's all I'm saying. That's all my point is because to me, he's now a first team. He's in the first team now. He's no longer an academy player for me. Yeah. He's that good. He is that good. And the rumours today are he's going to be in the England squad in, is it November, Iceland or whenever it is. I'm not a big international football fan at the moment. I am a club before country, I will be honest. But if Phil gets the call up like the rumours are, there's no one for me deserves it more than him. You know, people know how much I love Phil on this channel. He's amazing. And I can't wait till he's got them three lines on his shirt and he will be sat there bellowing the anthem out. You can see it in him. He's proud and you can see it, and I can't wait to see it. It will give me goosebumps. But let's move on to the front three then. Are we all saying Gabby?
Yeah.
All right. So who's left? Who's right? Chris?
It will be Mahrez, Gabby, Sterling, the three in front. I'm absolutely sure that's nailed on. It's been pretty much, other when Sergio was fit, but those two will be the wingers. It's been there all season. I can't see Pep changing. He needs to change it, but I don't think he will.
Don't start. Carl?
Yeah, you see, for me, I think Chris, you're right. It's going to be Sterling, Gabby, Mahrez. But I think that Mahrez is most effective, and I said this many times on the channel. When Mahrez plays that inside right position where Kevin plays offensively and Kevin moves to the right, Mahrez is unstoppable when he plays that position. So I think you'll see that change between him and KDB once in a while in the game where Mahrez comes to the inside right and Kevin goes that wide. If that happens, I mean, Arsenal have no chance if that happens because Mahrez in that position is something else. He's not a winger.
But that's the problem with Bernardo and Mahrez. Their favourite positions are KDB's. How on earth do you get the best out of the two of them when their best positions are taken up by probably one of the world's best midfielders in front of them? Yeah. You're literally stuck with this conundrum of what do I do? And that's why I've always said the criticism of some players is a bit unfair because they're not in the natural position. And unless KDB breaks a leg, which God forbid he never does, you're never getting him into the natural position. You just, I know Andy did that big video on Mahrez for Leicester in his best position, which is great. But where are you dropping KDB to? That's, you're going to take KDB out of his best position. Unless, like Kyle said, you give him the free role. And you say, I think it was at Newcastle where he looked like he had that free role. He was at right back, left back. He was left wing, right wing. He was going everywhere. I think that was the one I said. He looked very emotional. And people have put into the comments always, I didn't mean angry. He was, when I mean trying too hard, is for me, when you're going left back, right wing, left wing, you can't do it all. You can't do it all.
He almost got it. He almost got injured right in that game, right? Towards the end. Wasn't that game? Yeah.
Because he's running round and I love it. But I like the free roll, but it can be a little bit dicey sometimes because you are everywhere. Alan.
Sterling and Bernardo. And Jesus up front.
So what's Mahrez done to you then?
Well, I think I've got a sneaking feeling he's going to play Bernardo. Bernardo plays well against Arsenal.
True.
Even though Chris said Bernardo's had an awful season, really.
He's not going to keep.
No, not a good season. Sorry, I've missed. I don't want to misquote.
But also Bernardo can also come inside and play that number 8 role when he needs to and send him out.
Yeah.
I've just got a sneaking feeling he's going to go for Bernardo, and Mahrez can sit on the bench.
Okay.
They can always swap it if they need to.
Yeah.
You've got 5 substitutions, remember? 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I
That was 6, Alan.
All right. 6. Ollie.
You see what we have to put up with on this channel.
Don't worry, I'm not going there.
So
You should have seen the text I got beforehand.
let's move on to the result. Your predicted result for Saturday evening, shall we say?
Sorry.
What's your score prediction?
2-1 City. I think it'll be tight. I really do think it'll be tight.
Carl?
Yeah, 2-1. Tight game.
Chris, come on, give me hope. These have gone for a close game.
Yeah, 2-0, mate.
Am I the only one who's saying 4-0?
That could happen.
Got to be confident. I'm saying 4-0.
Well, I know one thing. You won't be watching the match.
No, I will not be watching the game. I will not know the result until I am in another part of the world, which is going to be... I'm going to try and ask the pilot to tell me the score, but he probably won't. So,
Martin, I remember once, I think it was 2014 or 15, I was traveling to Nigeria on a plane, and Arsenal were playing Man City at the Etihad. Didn't know the score when I landed. I checked my phone. It was 6-3. Remember that game, 6-3?
yeah, I was there. Oh, yeah. That was the one when Aubameyang, Adebayor nearly got lynched going out the Etihad by the Arsenal fans. Oh, I remember that game. Yeah, when Adebayor was a bit of a naughty boy because inciting the crowd, boy, was he inciting the crowd.
What, when he ran off the pitch?
What, running the full length of the pitch and sliding bang right in front of the Arsenal?
That's a 3-1.
Yeah, that was 6-3.
Yeah, the 6-3 was under Pellegrini. Pellegrini.
Right, trust it. I must admit, I did laugh when he did it. I must admit, I did laugh.
6-3 was the one under
Pellegrini.
Yeah.
You're right, Alan. These are plastic.
You know, you had a clue what I've been up to all day.
I'm sure his accent's starting to change a little bit. You know, eyes. He's got the red top.
I have had a very emotional day. All our year 6 left today. Good luck to all of them. None of them are watching it, but best of luck for the future. So, guys, there you go. That is our Bournemouth review. As you've seen, we didn't play great, but we got the 3 points, and that's what matters. We had a little chat about the youth coming forward. Is there a pathway? Let us know in the comments below. Would you play any of them in the upcoming games against Watford and against Norwich? We'll have to wait and see. And then we went on to the big game on Saturday, the FA Cup semi-final against Arsenal, live from the Etihad of the South, Wembley Stadium. Yes, Mr. Howard, you want to say something?
No, fine.
You leant forward there looking very...
I don't know what he's talking about, Chris, do you?
No idea. Paranoid.
Make sure, check out part 1. Like I said, we'll go back, we'll talk about all the things on Bournemouth, on Arsenal on Saturday. Let's hope the Blues get themselves back-to-back Carabao Cups. Can they get back-to-back FA Cups. I don't know if there's a team ever done that, you know. I'll have to check that in the stats. I'm not sure there was a team who's ever won back-to-back league and back-to-back FA Cups in the same. I'm not sure on that. I might be wrong, but I will check it. But we'll find out. Come and join us in part 2, where we're going to talk a little bit about UEFA, CAS, and transfers. Make sure your notifications are set to public, not private, so you are notified of everything that we do here on the channel. And make sure you check out Andy's live watch along tomorrow for the big semi-final as well. Hit that thumbs up button and hit the subscribe. And we'll see you later. And as always, up the Blues.